Well, welcome back to Pounding Sand Productions. As always, I am Phil, your gatekeeper guy. As advertised, we're going to be making some hard cider. Very simple hard cider. All it's going to have is a gallon of apple juice made from concentrate. Doesn't have any preservatives or anything like that in it. That would mess with fermentation. So 128 ounces there. The next thing we're going to be putting in is going to be 1 cup of white sugar. White sugar is going to be one of the fermentables for the yeast when that gets put in. The apple cider, or the apple juice by itself, would, with the yeast, come out to about a 6% or a 5% ABV. Adding a pound of sugar in should kick that up a few points, somewhere around 8 to 10% ABV. If I added more sugar, it might kick it up a little bit more, but who knows? I don't need to do that at this point. So we have sanitized everything other than the juice that's inside and the sugar. My fermenting bucket, my 2-galloner, the measuring cup that I've got my sugar in, and my obnoxiously big paddle that I'm going to use to mix the sugar up. Everything has been sanitized using Star San. Now, I used to, when I first started brewing back in the early 2000s, I would use a 5% bleach solution. I have no desire to deal with that anymore. Star San, you use an ounce of it in 5 gallons, and it works perfectly to sanitize your equipment. It is a foaming sanitizer, so if you do see bubbles with it, don't freak out. Once it is diluted, the 1 ounce in the 5 gallons, it's not harmful. But it's not something you'd want to drink anyway. But anyway, moving right along, we're going to start by putting our juice in, part of the juice. Ba-dum-bum. And I'm just tossing it in. There's no particular way to do it, other than don't get it all over yourself or the surrounding real estate. The next thing I'm going to do is toss in my juice, because I've got, or my juice, my sugar, because I need to get that dissolved rather than hanging out in a clump down at the bottom. So, hence the paddle. And we're just going to wander this around for a bit until it dissolves. Now, I'm going to be I'm fermenting in a 2-gallon container, and I'm only fermenting 1 gallon. That leaves a lot of headspace in here. In fermentation, primary fermentation, it's good to have a lot of oxygen in your brew, because your yeast needs that oxygen to do its work. So, there's that. I'll be back in just a second. I'm back. Now somebody smarter than me would be able to figure out how to edit that out. Like I said, smarter than me. Now, this is being a problem though. I'm gonna have to go away again. So what did I have to do? I had to walk away because I didn't bring in my airlock to go into the hole here, so that I won't get any bugs or anything like that in to my brew. And in my airlock, I'm using sanitizer water. This is what an airlock looks like. It just is to make sure nothing gets into your brew. So we're going to finish off with this other gallon. Then we're going to pitch our yeast. Now, because I added more liquid, I'm going to give this a little bit of a stir, just so that the gallon that has the sugar in it melds up with the gallon that doesn't. And here's where this fun starts. I'm going to put in a full packet of yeast. I'm using Lavalin D47 because that's what I've got. You can use whatever you want. I used to, when I was brand new into brewing, I used to rehydrate my yeast in a little bit of sugar water off to the side before putting it into the bucket. You don't have to do that. And quite honestly, what is you're going to end up with a bunch of dead yeast, no matter when you buy it, because that's just the nature of what's going to happen. Rehydrating it's not going to make that yeast come back to life. So you basically got what you got. So, with that being said, I'm going to agitate this just a tad. See if I can get the yeast down in there a little bit. And I'm going to put this in the fermentation area, and we're going to let it sit there for however long it takes. It might take a week. It might take 2. It might take 5 days. Interesting part about yeast, it doesn't read, it doesn't understand all of this stuff. It just does what it damn well pleases. So, with that being said, we're done. Thanks. I appreciate you stopping in and hanging out with me. Take care.